This is one of the weirdest cases ever. When you learn that it was the murder of an 18-year-old girl, it is just a sad story. However, when you find out why the murderer actually did it, it becomes rather weird. In the end, the case of Bobbi Anne McLeod was solved. But what was the reason behind her murder? Let's find out, shall we? It was in the early evening hours of Saturday, November 20th, 2021, when 18-year-old Bobbi Anne McLeod left the family home in Plymouth. She was going to catch a bus to get to her boyfriend's place, and the last thing she told her father, Adrian, was that she loved him. By the time she was leaving, she was already late because she couldn't find her trainers. When she got to the bus stop, she sent her friends an image of her feet on Snapchat, telling them how cold she felt. McLeod was not that tall, with a height of 1.57 meters, or about 5 feet 2 inches. In addition, she was also slightly built, and anyone could easily mistake her for someone else way younger than her. Because of her height, there is no way she could have stood a chance against Cody Ackland's brutal attack, even if she spotted him sneaking up behind her. Ackland was a strong, determined, and organized young man. Months and maybe years before he decided to attack McLeod, he had probably researched the techniques and tactics used by the American serial killer Ted Bundy. And if you are familiar with Ted Bundy's story, you know that his mode of operation was to approach a victim in a public place, render her unconscious, and take her to a second place before killing her. So, when Ackland, who was 24 years old at the time, got to where McLeod was, he struck her on the head with a claw hammer he had brought along just for this purpose. As he later claimed, their eyes met briefly before the teenager fell. He then immediately bundled the young woman into the footwell of his car and traveled 19 miles to a car park in a forest on Dartmoor. When he got here, he attacked McLeod with a hammer, which caused catastrophic injuries, and according to the police, this is probably where she died. Immediately, the girl was lifeless, and Ackland began covering his tracks. His first move was to burn her handbag, making sure there was no way of identifying her. Next, he put her body in his boot and drove for about 28 miles to a wooded lane leading to a Bobbi beach in South Devon. This was a place he knew because he had once partied there. In May 2020, about 6 months before the attack, Ackland posted a picture of a roaring driftwood fire on the beach. The caption to this picture read, "Capture them moments." When he got to the beach, he stripped McLeod, removed most of her jewelry, and then dumped her body 5 meters down a steep bank. And when he was done with that, he drove home and went to bed. On Sunday, November 21st, Ackland casually drove to a village outside Plymouth. When he arrived, he threw the hammer into a river and hid a carrier bag with blood-stained clothing in allotments. And after that, it was life as usual for Ackland. That Sunday, he had a regular day, going out for pizza. After that, he went for a rehearsal session with his indie rock band, Rakuda, where he was the songwriter and guitarist. After that, the band went to get drinks, where they drank into the early hours of Monday, November 22nd, at a lock-in. When everything was revealed, his friends said he seemed happier than usual. According to them, he was more of a gloomy, serious guy, but on this particular night, he was chattier, always laughing, and even hugging his friends. The following day, he had what he described as a chill day. He went to a cinema to watch the sci-fi film Dune, and even sent a picture to his friends of him eating a hot dog. On the afternoon of November 23rd, Ackland left his workplace, a car valet business, without notice. All his friends, family, and bandmates received a message from him telling them he loved them, and after sending that message, Ackland just walked into Charles Cross Police Station in Plymouth, and when he got to the front desk, he said, "I did it. I'm responsible." At first, everyone was confused, wondering what he was talking about. However, Ackland asked for a map and pointed out where he had dumped McLeod's body. As the police were interviewing him, Ackland claimed he had a tendency to overthink things. On the evening of the murder, he claimed he was feeling wound up and needed to get out. He then claimed that he had come across McLeod, of whom he had no idea who she was. The whole time, he insisted that his motive was not sexual at all, but he did say that she looked like girls he had dated. He also mentioned that he was getting over a breakup. When asked why he stripped her, he said that he was trying to make it harder to identify if she was found. Ackland then claimed that after the first attack, he thought about taking her to the hospital. However, he decided that he needed to kill her, which he described as workmanlike and industrial. During the interview, he showed a little emotion when he cried briefly. What was even more surprising was Ackland's background. He had never been in trouble with the police before, and everyone who knew him claimed he was thoughtful and clever. In addition, he lived solely with his mother. However, the true Ackland seemed to be hiding in the phone, which revealed his deep interest in serial killers. He was mostly fascinated by Ted Bundy, the serial killer who killed at least 30 young women and girls in the 1970s. There were 3,000 disturbing images on his phone, most of which were of Ted Bundy and his weapons, dismembered bodies, post-mortems, and murder scenes. And that's all for today, guys. Make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more amazing videos. Until next time.